For those that are not aware, and I'm sure you are by now, the New York Jets and Aaron Glenn, they're firing all their coaches, including Tanner Engstrand, who we knew was going to be demoted.
Yes.
We weren't sure he was going to be removed, and it was probably halfway mutual. They were going to demote him. He said, I'm not getting demoted. I'm leaving. And so the Jets are going to hire an offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, Zach Rosenblatt came out and reported, and I'm pretty sure it's true. I think we all know it's true, that they offered this job to Jon Gruden. Dave Portnoy came out and said, top one worst and most insulting job one can be offered. Now, I'm going to jump to 3 conclusions right now, and you know I'm right.
Yeah.
That job wasn't offered to Jon Gruden by Aaron Glenn because Aaron Glenn would never bring someone in with that kind of personality and resume who is a threat to him.
Right.
That job was offered by Woody Johnson. So here's the conclusion I'm jumping to. Next year, when the Jets fire Aaron Glenn, and they will, you people listening, and you know who you are because you've called in for months. Jon Gruden, Jon Gruden, Jon Gruden.
And you wanted him for the Giants.
You're going to get what you want.
You're going to get him for the Jets.
Jon Gruden is the next head coach of the New York Jets. And I think it's obvious, and I'm not just saying that. I'm not telling you I want it. It's obvious because Woody Johnson made that phone call.
Right.
And if Woody Johnson is showing you that he is comfortable getting into business with Jon Gruden, even on the level of being a coordinator, that tells you all you need to know. So let's save the drama. Let's save the time. The next head coach of the New York Jets, and I can't believe I'm saying it, because if you told me this 3 days ago, I would have hung up on you.
Right.
The next head coach of the Jets is Jon Gruden. Am I wrong?
Okay, so it's almost February. It's the end of January right now. We are butting up against getting very ready for the draft, free agency, all that. So we're month and some change away from NFL free agency. If that's the case, and by the way, I don't disagree with you.
What did I say that was wrong? I'd ask anybody out
there.
there.
The conclusion that you're drawing is 100% right.
Yeah.
There's no way Aaron Glenn voluntarily reached out to Jon Gruden and said, hey, will you come be my offensive coordinator? And potentially when I get fired in week 4 or 5 after we start 1-4, whatever the record is, you take over as the head coach. There's no way he did that. If that's the case, and I think you're right, that this was Woody.
Just do it now?
No, exactly.
Just do it now.
Why not do it now? Because think about where the Jets are right now.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation via our text chat last night, and it just really coalesced in my mind. This really is a disaster in the making with the New York Jets right now. I'm talking about 2026 season. Forget what just happened. The 2026 season feels like it's going to be a disaster. Why? I'm not sure Aaron Glenn knows what he's doing as head coach. Hey, should he have time to grow into it? Sure. But does he have time? Absolutely not. He doesn't know what he's doing. He does not have an offensive coordinator, even though they're speculating that it's going to be Frank Reich, who is kind of out the pasture right now, not really in high demand to be a young, up-and-coming OC. He's just a veteran coach who might help Aaron Glenn be a better head coach. Defensive coordinator. You're going after Wink Martindale, who got kicked out of the league and put into college, and I guess he had some success, but not really because Michigan sucked this past year. So, what are we talking about when we're talking about the Jets? Also, by the way, they don't have a quarterback, and there's no path to a quarterback.
They also don't have anybody on defense.
They don't have a player on defense that you're scared about. Maybe Will McDonald on a day. Not every day, on a day. Maybe Jermaine Johnson on a day, not every day. So this team is disaster. And the reputation of the organization is what it is. And I'm not just talking about from a fan standpoint, from a Jet fan or even a trolling Giant fan. I'm talking about from a league-wide perspective. The Jets are not highly viewed as an organization. So this thing is chaos right now. And it feels like unless you do something drastic, it's going to stay chaos for 2026. So why not just fire him now?
Yeah.
Why not just go bring Jon Gruden in here now? Why not let Jon Gruden try to change the feel around this organization now?
Believe it or not, I don't think it would stun me if it came out later today or tomorrow that Woody Johnson just does that. It actually wouldn't, because the state of this franchise is really, really bad. Now, I appreciate, and we talked about this the last few days, I appreciate that Aaron Glenn realized the mistakes he made of year one and is not doubling down on mistakes by just running back the same coaching staff and saying, don't worry, everything will be fine.
I agree with that.
I think it does take a little bit of chutzpah to say, you know what, I'm going to start over. But it also shows incompetence with your first search. So two things can be true at the same time.
Right.
And my gut feeling on Gruden, and we'll get more information. Connor Hughes, I told you, will join us coming up at 12 noon. But my gut is, based on a lot of what you said yesterday, too, about Aaron, that he's not going to bring anyone in who threatens him. He's not going to bring anyone in. I mentioned Brian Flores a while back. He's not going to bring someone in who could easily just take his job.
Right.
And so when I see Jon Gruden's name, it literally goes right back to the owner saying, hey, let me try to help you out. You know what? I believe in you. Let me try to help you out. I know John's he's done a lot in this league. I'm going to reach out to Jon Gruden. And Jon, and it's up to him if he wants to turn it down. He obviously did, and everyone's joking about it. I would honestly argue to Jon Gruden, are you getting any other job offers? I mean, if you want to get back into the NFL, maybe you have to take a crappy job offer to prove your worth. But whatever, that's up to him. But I think the Jets are in such a sad state right now that it would not surprise me if Woody did reach out to Jon Gruden and he sees how awful these searches are going, where he does what you suggest. Now, I wouldn't do that for this reason. I want to give Aaron Glenn that second year, as bad as this offseason has gotten off to.
Yeah.
And I also think that Jon Gruden, until proven otherwise, is someone nobody's touching, okay? This report yesterday involving the Jets is, unless I'm wrong, the first report we have had about Jon Gruden being attached to any kind of job in the National Football League.
Only fan bases. Only the fan has said, I want Jon Gruden. Go get Jon Gruden.
That's it.
There is no organization that's saying, I really want Jon Gruden. And he didn't interview for anything.
He didn't interview one, and there were 1 million job openings. I don't believe that's going to change.
There's still 3 job openings.
Right. No, you're right. So I don't believe that's going to change. I think Jon Gruden can either just stay at Barstool, where he's great, and make a career there, and he has every right to, or he's going to have to find a desperate team that's willing to break the rules, because right now no other team is.
Right.
So my point for why I wouldn't do this right now is he'll be there a year from now. I'm going to end up being right about this. The Jets are going to suck.
Yeah, but how long are you going to wait to just turn the corner? Look, I agree with you. Aaron Glenn deserves another year. I don't believe in the whole one and done thing unless it's obvious, like Steve Wilkes in Arizona. But then that was an organizational issue as well, because the organization was a disaster. The general manager was I'm talking about Arizona.
Yeah.
The general manager was a disaster. They drafted Josh Rosen, for Christ's sakes, and then gave him to Steve Wilkes and said, hey, man, good luck, dude. And so it's similar but not quite the same, because I don't think the ineptitude has been that long as it has felt like it is with the Jets. So I hear you. Aaron Glenn deserves another year. But right now, we are about to be in February. This staff feels like it's still in disorder.
Oh, it is. It's a complete disorder. They need to fill a lot of pretty important roles.
And so doesn't that scream incompetence in your job?
Yeah. No, it does. I'm not defending Glenn or this current administration. I'm just telling you that on January 28th, I don't think it's wise to pull the U-turn on it and go to Jon Gruden, because I think Jon Gruden's sitting there next January. I've got no reason to believe he's going to become a hot commodity. So I think that Woody Johnson has every right to just sit there and say, you know what, Aaron Glenn, figure this mess out. You created the mess. You hired these people. You got rid of these people. Go figure it out. And when the Jets inevitably suck, and they will, and maybe get the top pick, your job is probably more appealing. I said this to you the other day. The Jets could have a more appealing job next January than they do now. And I am pretty confident that Jon Gruden's still going to be sitting there, that no other team is going to scoop him up. And that's why I believe that a year from now, he's going to be the head coach of this team, because he also needs the right desperate organization to say, I don't care about PR. I don't care about the emails. I don't care about the lawsuit. I don't care about that because I'm desperate. Well, the Jets fit the bill, because they're the first team to even offer him anything. And I think a year from now, they're offering him the whole kit and caboodle. And I think there's going to be a lot of Jet fans who love it, and I think there's going to be a lot of Jet fans who hate it. And I'll give you my opinion, because I haven't offered it yet. I am so desperate and feel so hopeless that despite my concerns around Jon Gruden and how much he hasn't won since his return to coaching, and then his exit and the embarrassment and the lawsuit, how could I say no?
You can't.
Because no one else is going to want this freaking job. So I'm not even against it. But I think it's a year from now, and I think what we learned yesterday is that Woody Johnson is already setting the groundwork up. Because if for him to reach out to Jon Gruden now tells you, I'm going to do it again in a year. And I bet you most Jet fans will be on board because guess what? When you're hopeless, you'll take anything.
It's your most realistic path out of hell. And you hit on a couple reasons. You don't want him taking the job now. You don't want me to break the glass at 1 p.m. that he's fired Aaron Glenn.
Why?
Well, a couple reasons. He laid out part of it. The Jets, for better or worse, drain the life out of people. Robert Saleh was rejuvenated with San Francisco. We could talk about Sam Darnold. You could talk about any of these people that leave the Jet organization, okay? You don't want Jon Gruden in a year that you already know is going to be bad even with Jon Gruden. Now, maybe he wins 5 games because he's that better a head coach. You don't want him beaten down. Also, it's February. Tiki's talked about staff. Jon Gruden, a couple years out of the league, accumulating a staff, probably behind the 8 ball. You want him not to have a disarray of a staff 1 year in. And last but not least, if this year is going to suck anyway, Evan, again, I tell you, in February, late January, do you want to win 5 games next year or do you want to win 2 with Arch Manning at the top of the draft?
I think you're right.
No, I mean, but it's just the truth.
You're
because
right.
what's the culture you're going to set through with Jon Gruden winning 5 games next year?
By the way, that's the best argument you have.
Yeah. You know what?
Position yourself to be the number 1 pick.
You're bad enough. You don't have to worry about having the tank argument. The tank is already in place. Don't stunt the tank by having Jon Gruden be disheartened and winning 3 extra games next year. Go get the top pick, draft Arch Manning, have Jon Gruden come in all pumped up and rejuvenated with the staff he wants, and that is your lightning rod or your big golden ticket out of this hell.
Oh, I think that the Jets having a horrific season, which they are bound to have, like if we're all being honest with each other,
They have the longest odds right now to win next year's Super Bowl.
As they should. I mean, they are the favorites probably to get the number 1 pick because the likelihood is that they're going to stink. They don't have an OC.
They don't have a
a
quarterback.
DC. They don't have a quarterback. And it doesn't feel like they have a head coach. Who knows what he's doing?
Yeah.
So they have literally nothing but an offensive line that plays every game, which is cool. Like, I appreciate that. But outside of that, we have nothing. But if this season goes as badly as we all expect and Woody Johnson does what we all expect, which is, all right, I'm blowing this whole thing up, you probably have the number 1 pick. You have 2 other first-round picks, and you got a clean slate. And the guy that you're clearly eyeing is still going to be there.
Right.
And for Jon Gruden, he's going to have to make a decision. Do you want to coach again, or do you just want to remain as a star on Barstool? And by the way, he could remain as that star on Barstool.
Because he's good at it.
He's wildly entertaining.
No doubt.
But I think the Jets are going to be the only team that offers him this job. And they've already given you the hint at it by even approaching him about this offensive coordinator job. So I'm upset because things feel hopeless this season, but I clearly see the future now, and I cannot be alone. We need to brace ourselves, Jet fans, and you tell me if you like it. I'm sure some will, some won't. I think we need to brace ourselves that a year from now, Jon Gruden's going to be the next head coach of the New York Jets.
Yeah, the only thing I'd have to warn you on is if he says no, I'm good.
We're dead.
Then what? Seriously, what is the next? I mean, somebody will take the job, obviously,
Right,
Because there's some 37, 40-year-old head coordinator or whatever that's never gotten a chance, or I don't know. Frank Reich comes take the job. Who knows? Somebody will take the job.
Somebody will take it, but much like, and I mean this with all due respect to Wink Martindale and Frank Reich, because I think they are really good football guys who have good things on their resumes.
Yes.
But you said it best, and I'll say it in a delicate way. They are not hot commodities right now.
No.
Teams are not banging down the door for Wink Martindale and Frank Reich. So I think they're decent hires. I've said that before. They're singles to center field. But there's a reason they're considering the Jet job.
Yeah.
One, Frank Reich's probably just an awesome dude and owes to Aaron Glenn, or doesn't owe him, wants to do Aaron Glenn a favor.
Of course.
But with all due respect to Frank, people aren't banging down his door.
Nope.
Wink Martindale, we know what his deal is.
All right, they were both in college last year.
Yeah.
Both these guys.
Frank, obviously, is the interim head coach at Stanford,
Yep.
and Wink is the defensive coordinator of Michigan. So I don't think this is a hot job, clearly.
No, it's not a hot job. And look, we're talking about coaches, but just look at the roster. There are some good pieces in this roster. Offensive line, Breece Hall, if they re-sign him. Garrett Wilson, obviously. There's maybe a piece or two on defense, but this doesn't feel like a team, and there's no quarterback. And when you go into a season without not a vision, because that's the wrong description of it, but a foundation for a solid team and no quarterback, and then coaching uncertainty, There's no way to be successful.
Right.
You don't just happen upon success in the NFL. It's not like, hey, let's just run the guys out there, throw the ball around. We'll figure this thing out as we go. That might work in basketball if you have elite athletes. It doesn't work in the NFL. You got to have a real plan. And we're now in February almost, and Aaron Glenn can't be crafting a plan.
No.
Because he doesn't have a staff.
No, he has no plan. I mean, honestly, I think here's what Aaron Glenn's plan was. I'm going to get rid of everybody. I want to try to save my job. He knows year 2 is make or break.
Yes.
He doesn't trust the coaches that he
And
has,
by the way,
nor should he.
that's a crappy position to be in.
It's a horrible position to be
Year
in.
2, make or break.
Yeah, but it
That
is.
stinks.
It stinks, but it's the reality. And you know
Yes.
what? Unfortunately, it's his reality.
Right.
He's the one who hired the coaches. He's a part of the decision-making that decided to bring in Justin Fields. And he's the one who coached the team to a pathetic season. So it's on him.
Right.
And he should feel lucky that he is getting a second shot because most people listening to my voice and your voice wanted this guy gone. He's getting a second year. And I would argue that Aaron Glenn is facing one of the longest of long shots a coach or manager has ever faced in this town. Like, we've had coaches and managers go into seasons on hot seats. I don't remember a coach with longer odds of keeping his job and making this thing work more so than Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
Is it possible he makes it work? It's possible, but I'm telling you, those odds are as low as I ever remember it with a young coach or manager in New York City.
I agree with you. I agree. It's not an enviable position, and I feel worse for the Jet fan because what are you hopeful for other than it being over and let's try whatever the next thing is?
Here's unfortunately what we're hopeful for, and it sickens me that I'm saying this in January of 2026. We are hopeful that they will be bad enough to get the number 1 overall pick and make them appealing enough for someone to take this job. And as we stand here today, yesterday to me showed me that the guy they're going to target is Jon Gruden. And so for everyone who's called this radio station for weeks and months suggesting Jon Gruden for the Giants or suggesting Jon Gruden for the Jets, I really believe you're getting what you want. For everyone who said Don Mattingly should manage the Yankees, you never got what you wanted. For everyone who said Wally Backman should manage the Mets, you never got what you wanted. We are headed towards people getting what they want. The question is, the Jet fans like it.